Ted Cruz destroys FAA nominee. It was a tense debate. Let's break it down together.
I believe your record is woefully lacking. And in fact, you have zero aviation safety experience. And I don't believe you'll have the votes for confirmation, as you and I visited about earlier this week. Mr. Washington, you've emphasized your time as CEO of the Denver airport, 20 months. Have you ever flown a plane?
Thank you for the question, Senator. No, I have never flown a plane.
So you weren't a military pilot or a commercial airline pilot?
No, Senator.
Have you ever worked for an airline?
No, Senator.
Have you ever worked as an air traffic controller?
No, Senator.
You ever worked for a company that manufactures airplanes?
No, Senator.
You ever worked for a company that fixes airplanes?
No, Senator.
Whoa, wait. The man who's in charge of civil aviation has never been involved with aeroplanes or this whole structure in his life? Are you out of your mind? How is that even possible? For me, it is incomparable, and I personally demand that this person be removed from his post because it is not normal.
So for 20 months, you've been in charge of the Denver airport. You're in charge of the airport's buildings, correct?
I am in charge of everything that goes on at that airport.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure that's exactly right. You're in charge of parking at the airport. Is that correct? How many parking spaces are there at the Denver airport?
Thousands.
Okay. You're in charge of all the shops and restaurants in the airport. How many restaurants are there in the Denver airport?
We have anywhere from 150 to 200 or so.
You're in charge of coffee shops and clothing stores and newsstands. You're not in charge of the pilots, are you?
No, Senator.
You're not in charge of the airplane mechanics, are you?
No, Senator.
You're not in charge of the air traffic controllers, are you?
No, Senator.
Do you know what we're talking about? What is he? The administrator of a shopping center? Why did people in his position have a direct connection to aviation and tie their lives to it, and this man just looks after toilets and coffee shops? What were the actions of the people above when they chose him?
At the end of the day, that's the fundamental problem. For this administration to nominate someone as FAA administrator who can't answer the question, why were 346 people killed in horrific crashes that resulted in the 737 MAX being grounded for a long time, is striking. By the way, Administrator Dixon, after the FAA recertified the 737 MAX, he went and flew it personally. Mm-hmm. Listen, let me be clear, and you and I talked about this. FAA administrator is a specialized position. I'm not qualified to be FAA administrator. I have no idea how to fly a plane. No one in their right mind would put me in charge of aviation safety because I don't have that experience. I suspect most of the members of this committee are in a similar position. The American people, when they think about aviation safety, when they think about, I played in this committee, a Southwest Airlines and FedEx plane almost colliding at Austin's airport. They want an FAA administrator who knows why those planes crash and knows how to fix it to keep them safe.
In response to Phil Washington's decision to withdraw his nomination as administrator of the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, Senator Ted Cruz, a member of the U.S. Senate Commerce Committee, said that since Mr. Washington's nomination, it has become apparent to senators from both sides of the aisle, various aviation organizations, and impartial observers that he lacks the necessary aviation experience to effectively lead the FAA. He cannot be responsible for the safety of the people because he has no knowledge at all of the field in which he works.
Woefully lacking. And in fact, you have zero aviation safety experience, and I don't believe you'll have the votes for confirmation, as you and I visited about earlier this week. First round of questioning, we had a lot of discussions about your lack of experience with aviation safety, but there is another concern that is front and center for this committee, because you're the first nominee I can recall who is currently entangled in an ongoing public corruption investigation right now, while your nomination is pending. This investigation involves an alleged pay-to-play contracting scheme that resulted in LA Metro giving $800,000 in no-bid contracts to a politically connected charity called Peace Over Violence, or POV, to run a sexual harassment hotline that was hardly ever used. A whistleblower has alleged, among other things, that when you were the LA Metro CEO, you pushed forward these questionable contracts in order to stay in the good graces of a powerful politician on the LA Metro board.
Ted Cruz also stated that given the serious challenges currently facing the FAA, now is not the right time for Phil Washington or any other administrator who needs on-the-job training. The Biden administration should act quickly to appoint someone with extensive aviation experience, someone who can garner broad bipartisan support in the Senate, and most importantly, ensure the safety of the flying public. And most interestingly, this underhanded executive is complicit in the corrupted deal. He's just as much a money stealer as the current administration. These are the people in power. It's horrible. What do you think about that? Write your opinion in the comments, and don't forget to watch other shocking news on the channel.